How's it going, guys, and welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to be discussing my top 3 things that I use when I'm doing timing belts that are completely inexpensive and anybody can get. Okay, so when I'm doing timing belts, I have a number of different tools that I would use. I have a number of bought tools that I would use, but the items that I'm going to be speaking of today are ones that I tend to use over and over and over again, like nearly every single belt that I do, and they're also extremely cheap or free, depending on the item. Okay, so the first item I'm going to speak about is cardboard. It comes with the timing belt kit. Every timing belt kit that you get, you're going to have it as part of the box. I'm going to insert clips as I go along in this video and show the purposes in real life terms on how I apply them, but I use cardboard for drawing the auxiliary drive, so I don't, especially if it's a complicated one, so I won't mess up wasting time trying to find out the routing or have to dig out my laptop to get auto data and find out which way the drive belt goes, etc, etc. So that's one use I have for it. I know some people use it for putting bolts in, but I don't use it for that. The other reason I use cardboard, and the most reason I use cardboard for a timing belt, is the bottom crank. When I remove the pulley and I have the timing belt wrapped on, I tend to jam cardboard underneath, and it always keeps that belt nice and tensioned up, and you'll never slip a tooth, or you'll never allow it to slip that way. And especially when I'm working up around the top side of the cams, or we'll say if there's a fuel injector pump or something on this side, I can work on the top side of the engine under the bonnet and not worry about the belt slipping away on the bottom side and me having to re-tension it again. So cardboard, completely free, comes with every timing belt kit. The next thing I use, and I have been using this for years and years and years, is when you take off that bottom crank pulley and you want to rotate the timing belt after you have fitted it, so you're lining up all the marks again and you're rotating it around and you want to reuse that bolt, but let's say that bolt doesn't have thread all the way to the end. I use castle nuts as spacers. So that item there, that's for the bigger cranks and bigger bolts, and then I have a smaller one that I use as well. But I use them over and over and over again. I passed on this tip to a lot of other mechanics and they use it as well. I keep 2 of them on a magnetic part of my toolbox, and depending on which one I need, I go ahead and grab that. And lastly, the first 2 items can be got for free. You can get them in any junkyard, or I'm sure you'll get spares if you're doing track rods or ball joints. You'll be able to get an old one, or else a new one that you don't refit. Number 3 and my last one is clamps. So paper clamps of some description. I have many different types of them depending on which one, but I use them to clamp on to the pulleys and hold the belts. I have been doing this for as long as I can remember. I have gone through many clamps at this stage, but I get them in the pound stores or the euro stores, very, very inexpensive. You can literally get a pack of 10 for like €2, and they come in all different sizes. This one can open a bit wider. That is for very, very small ones. I don't tend to use that as much. These would be the 2 that I would use the most. It would only be if I wanted a tight space that I would use this clamp, but I have used it before as well. So that is it, guys. That's my top 3 unusual items that I use when I'm doing my timing belts all the time. As always, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you haven't subscribed, please please do leave a like on the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.